Hi everybody, I'm Karen MacNeil. It's so good to have you. You know, this Friday is Champagne Day, and all this week we're going to be drinking a lot of champagne, of course, and we'll be on Instagram every night with all kinds of good information and hopefully answering any of your questions about champagne. So post away, my friends. Plus, you can win some really cool stuff. Champagne little, you'll see, little gifts, which I'll tell you about, so stay tuned. Tonight we're going to talk about champagne and food. And you know, when champagne was invented, I guess I'll say, in the 17th century, it was always served at the end of the meal. And then 3 centuries later, you know, fast forward to today, it's often served as an aperitif. But what many people don't realize is that champagne is incredible throughout an entire meal. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. And there are 3 main reasons. Number 1, acidity. You know, when you take a sip of champagne, you get that sort of yin-yang seesaw effect. It's so mouth-watering. The acidity is so refreshing that you want to take a bite of the food, and then the bite of the food makes you want that refreshing sip of the wine. So that's reason number 1, acidity. Number 2 is minerality. Champagne has a lot of minerally flavors because of its limestone and marl soils. And those minerally flavors come across as a little bit saline, and so they amplify the flavors of the food around them. And third is bubbles. You know, champagne's textural bubbles are kind of a dramatic counterpoint to the texture of so many foods. So, what sort of foods work best? I'm gonna share what I think in a minute, but please post yours right now. I'm looking at everybody who's joining in. Oh my God, so many friends. Thank you, everyone who's joining in. Start telling me what you love to drink. What you love to eat when you drink champagne. Of course, sometimes maybe I start out thinking, okay, I'm just going to have the champagne, but you'll see, it goes throughout the whole night. Oysters, of course, fried chicken. Oh, look at all this good stuff coming in. Life is good with wine, says fried chicken. We're going to talk about that. In fact, so let me start out with what I love, and I promise you this is a tip from my friend Claire, and I now do this every time someone's over my house. We stand in the kitchen, we open a bottle of champagne, and here's what we put out, what I put out: really good potato chips with creme fraiche. And especially with a really super dry champagne. Popcorn is good too, just saw that come in. But the crunch and pop, right? The crunch of potato chips and the pop of the bubbles, oh man, let me tell you, that you won't want to even, I don't know, there's a reason people stand around in the kitchen, in my kitchen anyway, and don't want to move because they're just having so many great potato chips with Himalayan salt and a great champagne. You know, for that same reason, by the way, other textural foods are really good. Spring rolls, fried chicken, anything that has that sort of crunchiness seems to be, again, kind of amplified by the bubbly effect of champagne and by its incredible minerality. For a main course, I'm always, my first go-to is poached salmon with some kind of a sauce, like avocado, lime, cilantro sauce, or a cucumber, avocado, lime sauce, especially with a Blanc de Blanc champagne. Blanc de Blanc champagnes, all made from Chardonnay, of course, made from all Chardonnay, are so aerial. They're so beautiful that something about that beauty, and again that minerality, just sort of splices through the flavor, the fattiness of the salmon, and then mirrors the citrusiness of the sauce. I'm actually drinking a Blanc de Blanc right now, Nomine Reynard it's called, and it's absolutely delicious. No salmon because I'm in my office, but man, is the wine really good. So if I wasn't doing salmon, because sometimes, you know, fall, winter, you might feel like, no, I want something a little bit more homey. Roast chicken, but a spicy roast chicken. Like a roast chicken that you rub butter all over, rub herbs all over, and then I rub either Chinese 5-spice, za'atar, or cumin all over that chicken, roasted, and rosé champagne. Something about rosés, the earthiness that comes from the Pinot Noir, just is magnetic with poultry flavors. I mean, of course, you could get a little bit more elaborate and have, I don't know, turkey, pheasant, any number, duck, any number of things. But a good old homey roast chicken spiced up is just killer with rosé champagne. So why stop then? At the end of the meal, I either continue with the rosé champagne and then serve a, Life is Good with Wine is saying they're having a glass of Krug. Cheers, Karen. Well, good for you. Krug is so fantastic. One of the all-time great champagnes. But anyway, I either carry on with rosé and serve maybe a triple creme French cheese, something really decadent. Oh, because the minerality of champagne with a decadent cheese is really too good to be believed. I'm making myself hungry. I hope I'm making you hungry. I want to hear more of your thoughts though, so come on, post in. Steak, you know, we were just talking about that before we started doing this Instagram Live. I love steak with champagne, and I've done it many times. Gone to steakhouses, they're always expecting me to order a big cab, and I love big cabs, but the most unexpected order is champagne, and maybe a full-bodied champagne, like a Krug or a Bollinger. Oh, so good with steak, because any food that is high in fat and protein, like steak, really benefits from a wine that has the kind of acidity that will splice through the flavors of that steak. With cab, it's the tannin that's going to sort of splice through the flavors. But champagne with steak, ooh, if you haven't tried this, this is something not to be missed. Mexican mole with rosé. Oh, thank you for that suggestion. I'm with you, my friend. Mole with all that really deep, layered, chocolately, spicy flavor. You can't just have any old wine with a true, authentic, maybe Oaxacan mole. I'm with you there. Wagyu beef. These are great suggestions. Yes, again, I'm really with that. Wagyu, of course, has a big fatty component, so it almost needs champagne. Is there anything that doesn't go well with champagne? Just has come over? Yeah, I think here's my one thing I think it does not go well with. Spaghetti and meatballs. Yep, sorry, champagne, I love you, but spaghetti and meatballs, I need Chianti. So that's the only thing I can think of. Everything else is pretty much not only fair game, but fantastic. So at the end, if you didn't go with a triple creme cheese and kept going with the rosé maybe, then it's really fun to order a demi-sec or a sweet champagne, or to have, because I don't think a lot of people taste them these days. And they're not syrupy sweet, they're just lightly sweet, but of course very fresh and refreshing at the same time. And so then, I have to say, I'm a cookie person. I just put out a big platter of like vanilla shortbread cookies, and something about the the crunch and the vanilla-y flavor just acts as a mirror to the light sweetness of a demi-sec champagne. If you'd like to see a list, or like to have a list of what I go to with champagne, a list of the foods we've talked about, the dishes we've talked about, you can go to winespeed.com or go to my Substack, and next week I'll post them all there. What else? I need some more suggestions from you. Don't forget, by the way, we are giving away a champagne stopper. I know that if you're on with me, you probably have one of these. This is the official one from the Champagne Bureau. We have, I would say, like any good wine office, we probably have 30 of these in our office. No, I'm not kidding. I've lost a lot because I take one with me everywhere. There's one in every suitcase. There's one in my purse right now, but you can get an official one by doing this. And oh, not to forget, also a pretty nifty tote from the Champagne Bureau. We just need you to post a video saying why you love champagne and tag me using the hashtag Champagne Day, which again is this Friday, and end the video maybe by saying, cheers, Karen, I'm cheersing you back. And you just might win. Plus, we'll post your video. It can be not very long, it could be just a few seconds long. We'll post your video on our stories page. So, prosciutto, oh, thank you. You know, that brings up, this is such a good suggestion, prosciutto, because I think one of the most interesting aspects of champagne and food is that it's not limited to French food. A lot of wines, like maybe spaghetti and meatballs and Chianti, taste good with the wines of that place. But I think champagne is one of the wines that transcends place. It's as good with prosciutto, Italian prosciutto, as Mexican, Oaxacan mole, as it is with so many French dishes. So thank you for that prosciutto recommendation. That made real sense to me. All right, cheers, Karen. Lots of people are still joining. Anybody got a question about champagne that they want to pose? Let's see. I'm going to enjoy this champagne. Bread and olive oil. Life is good with wine says bread and olive oil. And I think like a big piece of crusty bread, like a French boule, or just a really good crusty baguette with really great spicy olive oil is fantastic. I agree. I could make that dinner. Usually, being Irish, my go-to dinner when there's really nothing very much in the refrigerator, don't be horrified, but mashed potatoes and a half bottle of champagne, all the major food groups in that combo. All right, I'll go with Chinese food and demi-sec. Chinese food and demi-sec, it's kind of a cool idea. Of course, saying Chinese food is like saying American food. It's like, it's a huge country, right? So Sichuan, Hunan, Cantonese, which is mild, something really spicy, something from Shanghai. I need a more elaboration there. Pizza and champagne, I'm with you. Even cold pizza at midnight. And a little, as the Irish say, a little snipe of champagne could be just the thing. Chocolate and champagne, oh, sorry. I'm putting that in the category of spaghetti and meatballs. I think chocolate and champagne is a train wreck. You might disagree. I hope some of you do disagree. But for me, chocolate is a really profound flavor. it's a very deep flavor, and it's a very sweet flavor. And I find that it kind of wipes out the nuances of champagne. I mean, yes, they're both big indulgences. So you might think, you know, any indulgence, caviar, smoked salmon, chocolate, any indulgence goes with champagne. But I myself call the line at chocolate. I think chocolate doesn't work. If there was a chocolate that worked, my bet is that it would be milk chocolate better than dark chocolate. But I'm a no chocolate person on. In fact, I don't like chocolate with many wines at all, with the exception of one. I'll tell you about that later. What's your favorite style of champagne to pair with French fries? Ooh, that's a good question. French fries, one of, you know, something that, gosh, most of us eat all the time. French fries are a little fatty, right? They are fried and they're textural. In fact, they're double fried often when they're really good. And if you sprinkle them with a lot of salt, which I do, I really love them with a really super dry Blanc de Blanc. All Chardonnay, something really snappy with acidity, and something that has a lot of minerality and is really starched. Boy, yeah, French fries. Blanc de Blanc. Which champagne is in your fridge right now? There are always about 3 champagnes in my refrigerator because some of you know who follow me that I drink a glass of champagne every night. I consider it kind of indispensable to life. That's why I have so many champagne stoppers. And which ones are in my refrigerator right now? I won't name names, but I will say one is a well-known, very well-known brand, and 2 are small. Well, one's a grower champagne, and the other is a top co-op, and all 3 of them are favorites. How do I feel about champagne cocktails? Not so good. I feel like there are other bubbles. If you want to put orange juice into your bubbles, there are less expensive bubbles, less nuanced bubbles that you could use. So, I don't know. I'm not big on champagne cocktails. I would almost always be a purist and have the real thing. What's your take on a few producers that have overly effervescent bottlings? Lower dosage and high atmospheres seem to be in fashion for a few. I'm not sure. Can you be overly effervescent? Tomorrow we're going to be talking about bubbles. So stay tuned tomorrow and let me answer that tomorrow when we talk about bubbles and their impact and why they're important. All right, everybody. If there are no other questions and no other food ideas, I'm hoping that you have all gotten very hungry from our stories tonight. So join me tomorrow night. I'll be back on at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern. Don't forget to make a little video. Tell me why you love champagne, and if you'd like to, what you love it with. And your video might appear on our stories, and we'll send you some cool little things from the Champagne Bureau. So, thanks everybody. Cheers. Remind us of the hashtag for Friday. Yes, thank you so much. Hashtag Champagne Day. See you later, everyone. Break out the potato chips.